Hello, welcome everybody to the podcast. And usually I'd be saying if you're joining us in the Ayurveda and Women's Health Sisterhood group, but for some reason, technology, it wouldn't let us live stream in there today. So we are actually live streaming on the my Facebook page. So Harmony, what inspired Ayurveda. Welcome anyway. We've had lots of technical issues over the last few days. So yesterday my internet completely was out for the whole day. And now today I'm with Optus. And so there's a national wide shortage. So let's just hope that we can get through this episode without anything else going on. It's a crazy time. Do not know what's going on. But if we can hang in there, it's going to be an epic episode, and we're going to be talking about embodying feminine power and reclaiming your authenticity. So this is actually a bonus series. This is the Evolution to Your Higher Self bonus series that I co-host with the beautiful Melissa Alves. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I'm Harmony, and I'm an Ayurveda and women's health practitioner, the founder of the Ayurveda Alchemist Academy and higHERself Breathwork. I blend the timeless wisdom of Ayurveda with modern science and evidence-based approaches to help women unlock their full potential and achieve holistic success. Through my higHERself method, I empower clients to thrive in their careers, nurture their personal lives, and embrace mindful living in today's modern world. And my wonderful co-host, Melissa Alves, over to you.
Hey everyone, I am Melissa Alves. I am a trauma-informed self-mastery and embodiment coach. I guide high-functioning feminine leaders to heal and liberate their powers and transcend their past traumas. I'm also the student success mentor at the amazing Ayurveda Alchemist.
Yay, yeah, you are. We love to start our episodes off with our wins because we believe in celebrating all of the small wins along the way to your holistic success. So Mel, what is your win for the week?
I think my win for the week is actually a big win. I'm celebrating because I've really got more crystal clear on the clarity and starting to learn about wealth creation. So I'm really, really excited. And we created a vision board, which I haven't done in years because, you know, I set my goals, but I don't actually bring it into life and see that visually. So we did a vision board masterclass in the Ayurveda Alchemist, which you ran, Harmony, which was amazing. So to actually see it and complete it, that was a huge win. What about you, Harmony? What is your biggest win this week?
Well, you know what? I feel like our wins are very similar, probably because we've been spending so much time together working on these big goals. But I also would have to say, I feel really good and really excited for 2024 because, as you know, we had a really long meeting actually, and we planned out all of next year, put in all of the dates, like created those goals. We did that vision planning. And then we've also, like you mentioned, I'm really excited. I felt like this was a big win, starting to create more passive income through investing. And that is by living out my dharma and my purpose through this work, and I can create an income doing what I absolutely love, which just blows my mind still to this day that I've made that transition. But taking that money and creating long-term wealth, so we are definitely doing that, and definitely not through MLM or anything like that. We're talking about like creating wealth through the shares and stock market and investing in property and those kind of things that we're now fortunate to be able to do without income. So really, I think we're both turning 40.
Yes.
Early next year. So we started to think of all these big girl things, and we're like, oh, okay, shit's real. Like, we're adults now. We really have to start knuckling down and using our like dharmic path to also create wealth. So yeah, that was also my big win that I had in my head I was going to say. I think another one would be I have a coaching call with a really high level business coach tomorrow. I'm super excited. I've wanted to work with her for years and years, and the opportunity just hasn't like came up until today. So until this week where I booked in. So I'm really excited about that. I'll let you know how that goes next time.
Oh, that is super excited. And I know how excited you get when you have this big vision and you have this big goal in what we're talking about with you having that coach, and you know that, oh my God, if I could only just get her time, if I can only just work with that coach, and then you just focus on and you keep going and following your dharma and doing the work, and to get the opportunity to work with that coach, that is huge. So I just want to congratulate you, because that is just absolutely amazing. And I can't wait for your message on Thursday once you finish your coaching session with her.
Thank you.
And in saying all that and living your dharma and putting our big girl pants on because we're turning 40, that all we have to get into balancing and embracing our femininity and our feminine leadership and all that kind of stuff. So I would really love, and this is a great segue into our podcast topic today, really would love to ask you, Ayurveda teaches us to balance that unique mind-body constitution, bioconstitution. So how can the Ayurvedic principles empower us women to really embrace our authentic selves and embody our feminine power, especially in a world that often encourages for us to conform or be a certain way for these predefined standards?
Great question. And you know what, Mel, I feel that it's only been really in the last 4 to 5 years where I've really felt authentic in my feminine power and leadership. And I think that does come with age sometimes. And I really wished that I'd allowed myself to step into it earlier. Even when we were talking yesterday about investing, the women that started investing at the age 25 compared to starting, around now, they're just leaps and bounds ahead. And so, yeah, I think it is more women are more aware and working on that and accepting that part of them now, which is amazing, because in a world that often, pressures us to conform to predefined standards, Ayurveda's wisdom really lies in recognizing and celebrating our individuality. So not just following that herd mentality, but really expressing yourself in your most authentic individual way. Ayurveda itself acknowledges that every woman has a unique mind-body constitution, as you mentioned, our doshas, so that's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha energies. And by understanding our constitutions, we really gain insight into our natural strengths, tendencies, and areas of balance, or areas where we become disbalanced or diseased, for a better word. So Ayurveda really empowers women to honor their individuality and express their true selves authentically. And what I love about Ayurveda, and I've spoken so much about the doshas and understanding your individuality through those, so I'm not going to take this question there, because I feel like you could listen to a number of episodes where I go into that. But what I do love about, Ayurvedic philosophy and Ayurvedic psychology and the holism of what it is it really draws inspiration from science and nature, but also the divine qualities of the Vedic goddesses like Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga, and Kali, to really guide women on the path of embracing their authentic self and embodying their feminine power. And I know we did a masterclass on these goddesses and how to embody their power in the Ayurveda Alchemist program earlier this year. And it was a hit. The girls absolutely loved it, because they could see where they're resonating with the goddess powers and where they need to sort of more embrace those. So I would like to just briefly go through some of these goddesses and their unique qualities that are relevant to our daily lives, and where you can see yourself stepping into these qualities or just owning these qualities, embodying these qualities. So Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance, prosperity, and beauty. And I think definitely, Mel, this week when we've been really talking about creating, that holistic wealth, we've really embodied some of Lakshmi qualities at the moment, which is awesome. And Ayurveda encourages women to embrace the principle of nourishment and self-care. And this is all, you know, part of what Lakshmi does. She nourishes, she's self-care, she's abundant, she's prosperous, and she's got that nurturing nature. And recognizing our own natural beauty. So we're not asking to be like trying to be supermodels or go out and have a six-pack, but really, really recognizing that deep beauty within and that deep feminine beauty that we embody, both outer and inner beauty, and focusing on abundance in health and happiness. We often hear of abundance and we think that that just relates to material possessions or wealth, but it's really about the abundance of our happiness and our health. So that is what we really embody when we can step into the feminine abundantness, and that's, you know, embodying Lakshmi, goddess qualities. And then we have Saraswati, and I love Saraswati. She symbolizes wisdom and knowledge and creativity. Ayurveda encourages continuous learning and personal growth, aligning with Saraswati's attributes. So by seeking knowledge and cultivating creativity, so even when you were creating your vision boards, you were really stepping into that Saraswati power. And it can be so powerful to express our authentic selves through our creativity, right? So I think that is such a big thing, especially for women in business or entrepreneurial women. Like, we are constantly creating. So we are drawing on Saraswati, or women who are studying anything because we're acquiring that knowledge. Or if you're doing self-study and personal development, that is, once again, acquiring that wisdom about self. And that's what Ayurveda really embodies. And then we have Durga, which is the warrior goddess, and she represents strength and courage. Ayurveda really emphasizes that physical and mental resilience, allowing women to tap into their inner Durga. So by nurturing your physical strength, that's why I'm like so big on movement and exercise and feeling really strong. Like, I've just gone to Pilates this morning and I love Pilates, and it makes me feel strong and really embody that Durga sort of energy. And also emotional fortitude, so they can navigate challenges with authenticity and grace. So when we talk about that strength, it's also that emotional strength and resilience, and that mental resilience. And I know you talk a lot about that, being a trauma-informed coach. And the last, there's so many goddesses, right? But these are sort of the main ones that a lot of people know. So the last one I'm going to speak of is Kali, which is the goddess of transformation. And she embodies the qualities of destruction and rebirth. And as we've been alluding to, I feel like we've gone through a little bit of a rebirth at the moment as we're coming into this wise womanhood, 40-year-olds, but also this rebirth through the trajectory of our business and I don't know, this growth phase. And I really feel that that's how we can embody the Kali goddess and the qualities that she embodies. Ayurveda, it really reminds us that women of the need for periodic shredding of what no longer serves them. So we really need to reflect on that. So remember, it's that transformation, rebirth, and letting go of old patterns and embracing change, which can be hard for some people. And when we can do that, we can really authentically evolve into our empowered states. So I think by understanding the unique qualities of our doshas and the goddesses, we can engage in practices that connect to our deeper selves and embrace our feminine power and really understand who we are, so we can show up in a really authentic way.
Oh my God, I absolutely love that. I could just continue listening to you for so much longer just on the goddesses, and when you were talking about the different goddesses and the qualities that they possessed. Like, I just, when you went into each one, I just felt it. And it's amazing how when you speak of the goddesses, it's like you can close your eyes and go, this is the qualities, this is the energy, this is the power that I need right now to rise into my feminine power. And I'm going to tap into that, and closing your eyes and just even reciting what the qualities are just put you in this vibrational state. Like as you're talking, I was just connecting into them and went, oh my God, the power just listening to it. It's just magic, like absolutely magic. So I'm definitely going to start now, just getting just those few goddesses that because I know there's a lot, just the ones that you mentioned. I'm going to kind of write out their qualities and stick it in there. I'm going to put it as part of my daily ritual. Who do I need to call on today? And this is the energy that I need to possess, and just close my eyes and make a ritual about it, because as you were talking, it was just so powerful and amazing. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And yeah, I think it's so important to remind ourselves that we do embody all of these qualities and we can draw on them at any time. And just to break it down really quickly for those of you who were like, wow, what did she say? What goddess is what? But basically, Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance. Saraswati is the goddess of wisdom. Durga is the warrior goddess representing strength and courage. And Kali is the goddess of transformation and embodies the qualities of destruction and rebirth.
Love the destruction and rebirth.
Yeah, we all go through it and we don't realize it's just our feminine goddess powers moving through us, right? But Mel, in the journey of feminine leadership and personal growth, many women encounter past traumas that may hinder their progress. Can you share insights on how women can navigate and heal these traumas on a deep, soulful level, aligning with their spiritual essence while embracing their role as powerful leaders?
Yeah. Oh, this is good. And I think before I can answer that, I really just want to get you guys to understand and recognize and identify what the wounded feminine is, right? So if we're in order to heal and transform and step into that feminine power, we need to first identify, okay, well, where am I wounded? Or where am I stuck? Or where am I limited? So some of the traits for the wounded feminine is, you might find yourself people pleasing. You might find your fear of rejection, perfectionism, emotional repression. You don't have that emotional intelligence. You have difficulties in accepting compliments or receiving. You're really disconnected from your wisdom when you're walking in a state like, oh, I just don't feel connected. I don't get the downloads that people are talking about. I don't find my intuition. What are people talking about with this intuition? So you have that disconnect. You struggle to forgive, or you struggle to accept your current reality. That's when you're going, okay, these are all the traits. Like if all the traits that I've just rambled on about, and you think about that, does that put you in a state of empowerment? Just as when Harmony was talking about the goddesses, when she was saying the traits and the energies of that, you felt empowered. When I said the traits of people pleasing, fear of rejection, difficulty accepting, does that empower you? Or does that feel like I'm contracted, I'm suffocating? Right. So in order to step up into and possess our feminine power, we need to recognize where we're stuck. We need to recognize what is holding us back and what is limiting us. And these traits hold, if we go a layer deeper, right? So this is all, how our behaviors are. If we go a layer deeper, we see that these traits are stuck in core beliefs, right? And these core beliefs are stemmed from trauma or difficult situations from when we were younger. So, and they contribute to the development of the traits. They're stuck in these traits. So some of these core beliefs, and the reason why I'm going to go through it is just so you can start maybe going, oh, this is why I'm people pleasing, or this is why I have a fear of rejection. So some of these are, you might have a core belief of, I am not enough. No matter what you do, it's never enough. And this can stem from when you're a child. No matter what you did to please your parents, it was never enough. You could never get their attention. So it's, I'm not enough, or I don't deserve happiness, or I must be perfect, or I am the victim because these things are always happening to me. Or do you identify as, I'm too sensitive, or I'm just an empath, or I am powerless. Right. So these traits, these wounded traits stem from a core belief. And these core beliefs also develop as survival strategies, right? So people just say, oh, I'm just an empath, or I'm just overly sensitive, because you're not standing in your power, right? You're not having those boundaries. So these core beliefs often developed as survival strategies in response to traumatic experiences. So healing and transformation to step into your feminine power and leadership typically involves in recognizing the challenges that these beliefs place in on your day-to-day living, right? So what now does a feminine power trait looks like? A lot of the things that Harmony spoke about. So you're able to validate yourself and celebrate yourself. Like at the start of this podcast, we celebrated our wins. And so many women find it so difficult just to celebrate the small wins. So you're celebrating yourself. You know and set your healthy boundaries. If you're having issues with boundaries, there's a few episodes ago, we did a podcast on boundaries. So go back and listen to that there. You own who you are. You love to receive. You hold space for your emotions. You're unapologetic about yourself. So all those traits that Harmony spoke about in the goddesses there. So how can you now journey through from going, I'm wounded and not in my power and contracted and in victim state, to so empowered and authentically yourself? So how do you get from A to B? So when I was very in my victim state and all these things and people pleaser and couldn't accept and all that kind of stuff, I look back and realize I went through three distinct stages, or journey through three distinct stages, which is my Heal to Evolve methodology, which I take myself and I constantly use, and is the core foundation from my one-on-ones and my programs and everything that I take my clients through. So that's really healing your mind, healing your body, right? So once you get into a state of healing yourself and just fixing up your mindset, rewiring those limiting beliefs, healing your body from all the toxins and all the diseases that you have placed in your body because you're so out of balance, then you can come in the space of the second phase, is that remembering phase. Remember who you are. Remember your goals. Get clear on your goals, your vision. Remember that you're a soul, that essence, that power that's in a physical body. What lights you up? What are your boundaries? Awakening to your truth of who you are. And then the third step is embodiment. Once you've done the work of healing, and once you've done the work of remembering and setting your boundaries and casting your vision, the key is embodying that version of you, embodying it and moving even with the fear that's in your place. Even though there might be some challenges in your life, you still lean into it and you embody that essence. You remember who you are and you embody it each and every day. So I think, yeah, for moving from that past the trauma that can hinder your progress is really just start healing yourself, accepting and recognizing what is limiting you, what is keeping you contracted, remembering who you are by using those goddesses, tapping into the goddess energy, and then embodying that goddess energy, embodying your feminine leader power.
Something that a lot of what you said really hit home and resonated, but something that you said really stood out. And that's like when people are, saying, oh, I'm just an introvert, or I'm this, I'm that. Labeling yourself something really limits you. Yeah. Whether that's in your life, the role that you see yourself in, your family, your business, labeling yourself, it limits you. And sometimes, for instance, in business, we are always told to niche down, and you label, I'm an Ayurveda and women's health practitioner. And yeah, that does limit what I offer and what I do, and it makes you really clear on it. But then there can be other times when it's used for not the benefit of yourself, your higher self. And that's when you do say that, I am an introvert, so I can't do this. Therefore, you're limiting yourself to what you can actually do because you want to believe that you're that label. And that's the way when we get diagnosed with certain conditions or diseases, we can't ignore that they're there perhaps, but if we say, you know, I'm a diabetic, as opposed to I have diabetes, but I'm working, you know, towards my health, like we can really label ourselves and keep us stuck in that mindset. Or I've got PCOS, therefore it's going to be hard for me to fall pregnant. And the case might be that it's not for you. It may be from someone else who has PCOS, but it might not be for you. So don't label yourself all of the time, because it really limits you and it really limits your mindset. And when you're in that limited space, it's really hard to step into your higher self and feminine power.
That is so true. And when you're talking about labeling yourself, another layer of that came through was words are powerful. And if you're wanting to step into that feminine power, then you need to be changing the words of how you're speaking. You know, be expansive in the language that you're using instead of limited language. And then when you shift the language to like an expansive vocabulary, expansive words that you're using, then your mind is going to expand. Then you're going to be able to shift into another state of being, into playing in a different frequency of a contracted, wounded, poor me, and I'm putting labels on myself.
Yeah. So many layers to that.
So many layers to that. But I would love for you to share a personal story, because Ayurveda often, you know, really emphasizes the interconnectedness of the mind, the body, and spirit. And you speak a lot about this. So I'd really love for you to share a personal story of yours or a case study where you have used your higHERself methodology in helping either yourself or a client just reconnect with your true selves, your core essence and rekindle your feminine power and live authentically and have that courage to live authentically.
So I guess, first of all, I saw the need to bring together a method in a really concise way, because what I was seeing in my clinic with my women's health clients, whether they were coming in to see me for hormonal imbalances or gut health issues or stress, anxiety, there was always these core foundational pillars that we had to work on for them to achieve that holistic health and holistic success with that. And so what I noticed over many, many, many years being in the health and wellness industry, which is coming up to like 19 years now, that we had to, so the pillars to become and step into that higher self is health alchemy. So we really can't just address one part of our health, our physical health, for instance, or just our emotional health, because they all, as you mentioned, are so interconnected. So health alchemy is really addressing the physical symptoms, so our physical health for sure, because your physical body is your temple, and your physical body is what makes you this human and living in this experience. And it is really important to address that. So I don't ever want to dismiss physical disease and physical symptoms. And I know a lot of people in that sort of spiritual realm will almost bypass the physical body as being something that it, you know, we're not meant to have, or something bizarre. But anyway, physical health is super important. Emotional and mental health, just as important. Spiritual health, just as important. And Ayurveda also looks at our dharmic, so our connection to purpose, and our wealth. So the wealth, not just in material possessions, but our holistic wealth and how we can live comfortably and in that abundance framework. And then the second pillar is the empowered mind paradigm. So being able to belief shift into a positive state, as we've touched on. And then the third one is, it was quite surprising over my time working with women. They might be coming in for such physical conditions like endometriosis or PCOS. And then we end up talking about how connected they are to their dharma, or how are they making purposeful changes in their lives, really living, like creating greater impact in their life through dharmic way of living. And a dharmic way of living is really just aligning your higher self with how you're showing up. So the third pillar is dharmic impact. And there's so many clients I can talk about, but I will come to, like, one of my clients, will call her Sarah, that's not her real name because I like to keep very confidential.
Yeah.
She came to me with hormonal imbalances. She was feeling completely overwhelmed and really disconnected. She was out of touch with her true self, but on her form she came in for hormonal imbalance, but when you dive deeper there's so much more going on. She was navigating a really demanding career as well, so she was in more of that corporate world, and juggling family responsibilities and struggling to balance her health and well-being, and that sort of ate away at her. She felt really guilty about that because up until like having kids, she'd always been so into her health and fitness. And she'd basically lost a lot of touch with her own needs because she was either serving in her career or in her family, as many women do in our fast-paced world. So she did my hormone solution program, which is a 90-day program, and we went through the higHERself method. And so the way we applied health alchemy is we began to address her physical symptoms with her menstrual cycle and her mental, spiritual, and emotional needs. And some of those she wasn't even aware of because she hadn't given herself the time to really reflect on them or ask her those questions. And that's why often you need a practitioner or a coach to be able to ask you the questions you're not asking yourself, or to be able to ask you the questions perhaps you are asking yourself, but not giving yourself that truthful answer because you don't want to have to deal with it, or you don't know how to deal with it. So you're needing that guidance. And so with some insights, we tailored her dinacharya, which is her daily routine, and some dietary choices, because if you're trying to get someone to a sattvic state of mind, which is more peace and light and love and, you know, that beautiful state of mind we all want to be in, but they're eating tamasic foods, which are like really heavy and dense and stale and not good for you and make you feel lethargic, it's going to be so much harder to get to that sattvic, light, pure mindset if you're bogging you down with shitty foods and diet. So we can see how everything connects. And so there's a lot of changes that have to be made, but we can do that over a period of time. We don't have to just go bang all in, especially if you are a busy woman. So we make small incremental changes, and also self-care practices to align with her unique mind-body constitution after analyzing that. So yeah, we really had to transform her relationship with her body and with her routine, the way she was doing things, her boundaries, all of those. And then we worked on the empowered mind paradigm. So through this, I delved into Ayurvedic psychology and identify limiting beliefs that are holding her back and how we can heal or move forward. Because as I mentioned earlier, you can't do that from a disempowered state. So your mind shift really, to be able to stick to a routine or to make changes, it needs to shift to an empowered state of I can. As we were mentioning, you can't limit yourself with labels. You can't limit yourself with your mindset. So she began to acknowledge her own strengths and her own inner wisdom, ultimately embracing her authenticity and feminine power through just those mindset shifts. But just to I guess reflect on how Ayurvedic psychology differs is the way that we look at how the mind is intricately connected with the body, and it's considered a crucial component of overall health and well-being. And so we classify the mind into various aspects. So when I'm working with someone from an empowered mind paradigm pillar, we look at manas, which is the sensory mind, and it represents the cognitive and sensory aspects of the mind. It's responsible for processing sensory information, such as what we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. And it forms the initial perception of the external world and transmits this information to the next layer of the mind, which is the buddhi mind. And in this modern fast-paced world, we are consuming so much information through our senses, we can become very overwhelmed. So what we do in this stage is we practice pratyahara, which is withdrawing from those senses and going inwards. And so, as I mentioned, this information is laid onto the next part of our mind, the buddhi, which is the intellect, or the intellect part of the mind. It is responsible for decision-making, reasoning, and understanding. Buddhi elevates the sensory input provided by manas, filters it, and determines how we respond. So once we've consumed all the information, how are we going to respond? And the Buddhi mind can be affected by many things, and that can be a trigger for people. Their response to that information, they're overreacting, or they go into that fight and flight. So how can we work on that? And then we get to the ahamkara, which is the ego or self-identity. And Sarah, we'll call her Sarah, she really had distorted self-identity issues. And the ego, the ahamkara, is where the mind creates that sense of individuality and that self-identification, but that can become distorted of that true self, right? This part of the mind separates us from the external world and fosters our own sense of I and me. And so it's really needs to be important. I mean, that I didn't word that very well. It is important to really understand the real I and me from that deep, authentic place. And then we have chitta, which is the subconscious mind, and that represents our our subconscious memory, our emotions and thought patterns. It stores our past experiences and emotions and influences our thought process. It also plays a pivotal role in shaping our beliefs, so those limiting beliefs you were talking about, Mel, our reactions and our emotional responses as well on that subconscious level. So I was just peeling through. Wow, that was a lot. Sorry, guys. And we'll move on to then how we implemented dharmic impact. So did that all make sense, though? How we moved through the empowered mind paradigm from an Ayurvedic psychology point of view, and how she had to really use those shifts to get her holistic success. So then we worked on dharmic impact, which is exploring her life's purpose and how her career aligned with her values and her wealth goals. And with this insight, she really, she was often coming and saying, I'm just so tired, I'm so exhausted, even though when she started to eat better, do exercise, she felt really good when she was at home with her kids. She was no longer struggling there. Like, she felt really energized in the morning and even the afternoons, which is quite bizarre because most people feel really deflated in the hours. But her lull and her energy just went when she went to work, and she just was not feeling connected in that space. She just did not connect with her purpose. And it's not to say that your dharma has to be your career, but it's the way that you want to show up and how you can show up in that space. So sometimes we don't have the choice just to shift jobs like that. Sometimes we have to go and do the work and bring the income in. But how can we make purposeful or purpose-driven changes in that environment to align more with our dharma, which is showing up in that right way to make us feel good? And then if that's just not enough, how can we have this more deeper connection to our purpose in another way outside of those work hours? So that could be, charity. It doesn't have to be a side hustle or a career. And for those who are in a dharmic career, it is amazing and it is life-changing. But for some people, they want to just go to work and they just don't want to have to think about anything. And their purpose is connected to, this deeper sense of being a mother, or this deeper sense of helping old ladies across the road with their groceries if they can see that they're struggling. Like, it doesn't have to be in a career, but where can we tap into that purpose and where can we really understand what it is? And that was the part that made her, in her words, well, I'm trying to think of what her words were, but made so much sense and made the biggest shift in her stepping into her higher self and really aligning with her authentic feminine power.
I absolutely loved the end, how you said that your dharma does not have to be your career. Like, people feel that I have this mission, I have this purpose, I need to turn it into a business. But you don't need to turn it into a business if business and entrepreneurship is not for you and not calling you. There was this client who said that she was learning all this thing and she tapped into her creativity, as you spoke about earlier today, and she remembered that she loved painting. loved painting, loved art, and she wasn't doing that anymore. And she's like, how can I had asked her that question, like you said, grab a coach to ask you those questions. How can you, and she loved creativity, painting, and she loved building deeper connections. And I said, well, how can you bring them both into your life? And she said, I'm going to go out and talk to the mums of the group, of the school, and see if they want to hang out and have deep connections and do craft instead of just going out to a cafe and catching up for a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and I'm like, yes. And her face changed and the way she lit up was absolutely amazing. So yeah, like Harmony said, look for those ways that you can bring your Dharma into your everyday and without having to turn it into a business if entrepreneurship is not for you, and just see the joy that comes into your life from that.
100%. And even as you know, Mel, like in the Ayurveda Alchemist, which is a program, it's an accredited program that certifies you to become an Ayurveda and holistic women's health coach. And some of our, like the majority of our students, they go off and they do amazing things in their career with their certification. But there are a portion of the students who still feel really dharmically connected to this path, but don't want to do it as a business. And they come in to just align themselves in this dharmic way and live a better life for themselves. And that's so magical to see. And I know we have big dharmic talks in the program, like about how you want to show up. And it doesn't have to be as like a business owner or a career woman if that is not what you want to do, or if that's not what you're called to do, because we don't have to follow that herd mentality. And we are here to be our authentic self. So I think that's really important. But I would love to wrap this episode up. As much as we could talk about this forever, because when we get together, we're always talking, but I'm saying but way too many times. I wish we had a podcast editor, but we don't, guys.
We'll just edit all the buts and ums out.
But we just love these conversations because it really resonates with ourselves, and we just hoping that, it's also resonating with you guys out there as well. So I do want to wrap it up with this one last question for you, Mel. How does reconnecting with your inner child and unleashing your creativity serve as a gateway to heal from past traumas and nurturing your spiritual growth, ultimately leading to the embodiment of your authentic feminine power?
Oh, this is the foundation of healing your trauma. Like, to be able to connect in with your inner child, to stand in your feminine power, to stand in your true, authentic, higher self, all comes with healing your past trauma and your limiting beliefs. And so for those of you that don't know what inner child is, you haven't heard the word, or you may have heard a word and you don't understand what that is. So your inner child really represents your true, authentic core essence, your soul. It's free from the constraints of adulthood that we have placed on ourselves. It's free from the false identities, the false labels that we've placed on ourselves. It's reconnecting with your inner child really helps you shed the armor that you've accumulated over the years, and allows you to embrace a sense of wonder and curiosity and playfulness. So the inner child is where it's the seat of where your joy and intuition really thrives. And this is really essential to connect with your inner child to be able to step into your feminine power. So when you are connected to your inner child, the essence of who you truly are, you're no longer in a place of, when you're disconnected, you're no longer in a place of creativity. You can't access your intuition, and creativity really allows you to express yourself freely, and it bypasses the analytical mind, which operates from that wounded part of yourself. So a lot of people lead their day-to-day lives from that fearful, wounded, limited part. But when we're connecting into the inner child, we unlock that intuition, we unlock that creativity, because we at a soul essence, we are creators, right? We're part of that God essence, which what is God? It may be universe, God, source, whatever word resonates with you, the creator. right? Look around you at the creation that this source has created, and we're a fractal of that source creating. We are co-creators. It is in our innate being, innate nature, that we're creators. And when we're disconnected from that, that's when that's when life gets tough and we're limited and we don't reach our goals and we're contracted, like I spoke about earlier. So what we need to do to be able to get into this, connected with this inner child, is we're needing to create space to allow ourselves to play in this creative space. And it can look so different for many people. When I'm talking about creating and tapping into that creation, it's not about painting and being good at drawing or arts. It's exactly what you said earlier, Harmony. It could be writing, it could be dancing, it could be just going for walks, it could be singing, it could be any form that yourself wants to express by being silly or cooking, whatever that is, reading, imagination. You tap into that frequency of yourself. So everything that I do, every program that I run, every one-on-one session, it is so crucial for me to start working with the client to do the work to heal the past traumas, and I take them into a connectiveness and to re-meet their inner child. You know, we go through this hypnotic meditation process that I take them in through to re-meet and reintroduce your current self to your inner child. And that's my second pillar, is remembrance. Once we've healed, we need to remember what our true self, our inner child, what made us joyful, what was our creative self-expression. And then from that place, we can cast our big vision. We can remember what our dharma, our purpose is, and then go into the embodiment of living with them. And I always give them little tools that you can connect back in, because life gets in the way, right? Yes, it's great. And we're in this state where we've gone through this meditation and I can feel her and I can remember her, but life gets in the way. And we're needing to have tools to be able to connect back in and remember that frequency and remember who the hell we are and step back into our power. And there's so many various tools. It can be a meditation. It could be using oils to smell and anchor back in. It could be a soul script. And in saying that, I can go on tangents, but I'm going to stop there because I want to read a soul activation script that Harmony and I both created, that hopefully will properly, Harmony, I don't know I'm going to say it, but can you pop it in the show notes? For the listeners to listen to, and it's going to be on a journal that we're going to release as well. I'll just throw it out there, drum roll. But I'm going to read you out this activation script, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to feel the words, and I want you to say it in your head or just listen to these words. Okay, so settling in and closing your eyes. Deep breath in and out, grounding yourself into this present moment. This is your higHERself activation. I am a powerful and radiant soul, embracing my authentic self with unwavering love and confidence. I stand tall in my truth, conquering any challenges that come my way. I release limiting beliefs and step into my spiritual essence. I am worthy of abundance and joy. The universe guides me towards my highest purpose. I'm a force of positive change, creating ripples of love, compassion, and empowerment. My heart is a wellspring of wisdom, guiding me towards my dream. I embrace my imperfections beautifully, uniquely, flexible, and fun. I'm free to be myself. Today, I activate my inner power, shining brightly with confidence and grace. I radiate love, strength, and uplift others on this journey of empowerment. I am a co-creator of my reality, manifesting my desires with ease and joy. I attract opportunities that align with my purpose. I am divinely guided and supported. I trust the universe's plan and surrender with gratitude. I am whole. I am powerful. I am love. And so it is.
That was amazing. Thank you. Now you've blissed me out. See how much I've changed my energy, just like really dropped into that. Yeah, that beauty. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we got to tap off now because I'm all too blissed out to keep this up. I know that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. What a beautiful way to end the podcast. Thank you so much, Mel. Yeah, and I'm so excited for these journals to come out. They're going to be beautiful. And you will get that activation in there as well. And yeah, I'm just like, I'm speechless now because I'm too.
Okay, so I will wrap it up.
But I just wanted to share about our 3-night sacred retreat. So our 3-night sacred retreat is February the 29th to March the 3rd, 2024. So it is early next year, the perfect way to start the year with sacred rituals and holistic health. We're going to be doing a lot of workshops on women's health and Ayurveda and all the things. We're creating a really beautiful sacred space and guiding you through these divine rituals to really tap into that higher self. We're going to be providing yoga and breath work in this most beautiful yoga dome, and we're so excited for it. We do have early bird tickets. They have been released. So please go to the website harmonyinspiredhealth/retreats to book your spot. We only obviously have a limited number because it's a intimate retreat center. So there's only a certain amount of beds, guys. So if you want in, bring your bestie, start the year in this divine journey back to self at our sacred retreat. And yeah, we just cannot wait for this one. We've put so much love and energy and planning into this, and it's just going to be absolutely divine. I do have one spot left for the higHERself breathwork certification, which is happening next weekend, which is the 18th and 19th of November. So if you are hearing this and want to quickly snap that spot up, it is yours, but it may be snapped up already by the time you listen. All right, over to you, Mel. Any parting words?
No, all I just want to say is that just remember, you guys have that power within you. You're not broken. There is nothing to be fixed. It's just a beautiful journey back home, and it is not hard, and that power is within you. And, you know, leave us a comment or reach out to us and let us know what qualities of the goddess that you're going to embody in. What is that word? I can't even talk. That you're going to embody. What goddess energy are you needing right now that you're going to call in and that you're going to own? But we'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, please leave a comment or reach out to us.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.